Hi, I'm Jenny Boom Boom. This is Who Will She Be Talking to Wednesdays, and today I have my friend Maino with me. Hi, Maino.
How you doing? Good morning. Good afternoon. Jenny Boom
I
Boom.
actually couldn't ask for a better person to talk to, I feel like. There's so many fascinating things going on with Maino.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
first of all, you have the Die a Legend album out.
Yes.
Congratulations. It's
Thank you.
an incredible piece of work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. A lot of people ask me why I named it that, and I just, for me, it's not actually about dying. It's actually about living. It's about doing as much as you can possible while you're here to make an impact, to leave a mark. So whenever it is your time that you actually being remembered, and you have actually a legacy other than being a so-called uh, real nigga or street nigga. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if that's my legacy, then I haven't done enough. You know, 2020 taught us anything. It taught us that anything is possible, right? As far as life, we watched a lot happening in 2020 as far as a lot of people passing, a lot of family, a lot of people we know, a lot of people that, in various different industries and stuff like that. So I feel like it's about living. It's about doing and taking the time that we have here and doing as much as possible, inspiring the most that you can, motivating the most that you can, being the best that you can, being as great as possible. So that's what Dying a Legend means. So whenever that day is, whether it's 100 years from now or 2 nights from now, that we did everything possible to be here so that we have a legacy to leave.
I'm really glad that you explained that because, the title is very impactful. It's
Right,
very powerful, but it was also felt dark to me,
right, right.
and it kind of reminded me of Biggie's Ready to Die.
Right, right. No, it's not that at all. It's like I said, that space between the time we born and the time we leave, that's what counts, because after we gone is what people remember us for. So what is your legacy?
Right.
We start to think about what your legacy is. We seeing rappers and we seeing young men dying too early, right? What is the legacy? You know what I mean? So it made me think that I have to do more. I have to spend my time working harder. I got to spend my time trying to inspire more. I got to spend my time trying to maybe mend certain conflicts that I have with people that I love, because look, we can't take nothing for granted. Tomorrow really is not promised. So let's do and be the best that we could be while we're here. That's it.
I absolutely love that you said that. I think that is something too. Those types of thoughts are something that come as you get a little older.
Right,
Because I oftentimes think now, like when I'm getting upset about a situation, I'm like, well, when I'm on my deathbed, will this
right,
be something that I actually remember that happened in my life? Is this something that really matters?
right. Yeah, some of the conflicts that we have in life, especially with people we love, and then some of the things and behavior that we once held on to, when we get to a certain place, we look back and see that it's not even that important. You know what I mean? Like, what is really important? Like some of this stuff that we're going through is not even it's nothing. You ever been in a situation where somebody that you love, got into, I don't accident, or got into a life changing situation, and then you felt bad, like, damn, we was on bad terms, so I like certain energy. It's all about the energy for me. I don't want to carry on certain energy that's not necessary. Now, I'm not up here preaching, things that are not reasonable, because some conflicts may not be able to be sorted out, but for the most part, most can. So, you know,
I was going to actually ask you that a little further down in the interview, but since you brought it up already, you've had a lot of conflict. Yes, in the last 17 years that you've been out of prison, you have had a lot of conflict with other rappers, people in the industry, uh, in the streets. And you've spoken openly about these situations.
mhm.
And with that being said, and the most recent, I went back and of course I had to do my research and look, the most recent kind of conflict you just had was in the spring with 50, where 50 just said a little something, but you
That
diffused the
wasn't no conflict
situation.
at
Right? Well,
all.
you diffused the situation right away.
No
But with
conflict.
that being said, looking back at the last 17 years in this
Hmm.
industry and everything that you've been through. Do you regret any of it?
I don't regret any of it, and I don't feel like I had is that much more conflict than the average other artist or other man. You know what I mean? We live in a life where it's combustion. We're gonna rub somebody wrong here. We're gonna bump into somebody over here. It's things that's gonna happen. It's no way possible to be on this earth and to be, to stand on your principle and to not have enemies. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna piss somebody off at some point. Um, you can't live like that. A man with no enemies is not to be trusted, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because that means that he simply either, you know, he just adjusts to everybody. He compromises a little too much. You got to stand on something, some type of principle at some point. Now, I'm not saying you go out and make a bunch of problems for yourself, but I'm just saying in the span of your lifetime, I'm pretty sure that everybody has pissed somebody off. Um, I don't regret none of it because it's a part of the journey. We here. I'm not actively out here pursuing issues or running around trying to, make more of a problem for myself. But things happen, and as men, it happens. We're human.
Right. So you have a very, very powerful record on your album, Die a Legend. It's called Young N Words.
Right. Young
Um,
and old. Yeah.
well, um, and in the video that you have out, you actually brought attention to the arrest of Casanova and G Herbo, the deaths of Chinks, Nipsey, King Von, Pop Smoke, Mo 3. And in the record, you say that music was supposed to be a way out.
Right.
But then you follow up by saying, a rapper in the music business, I mean, this is just a very dangerous job. I'm just paraphrasing, obviously.
Right.
Um, what are your thoughts on what's going on right now in hip hop?
Um, it's an unbelievable time. I don't think we ever witnessed a time where we seen this amount of young artists being indicted, being killed, being caught up in these situations this many times back to back. Um, it's unbelievable and it's disheartening, because like I said, rap was supposed to be a way out. When for me, and I'm just speaking for me, from my perspective, looking at being in the street and then looking at the opportunity to do music, we looked at music as a doorway to leave the street. Music wasn't supposed to be the entry level of, us becoming more criminals or us, you got some artists that never been, never had felony records until they became artists. You had some rappers that never, been to jail or been involved in things until they became artists. And to me, that was never the true narrative. The narrative was always to get out. Now, but what we having right now is just a time where there's just a lot of conflict and a lot of issues in it. And then I wanted to talk about it on my project. I wanted to talk to the young niggas, um, and express how I felt that, for one, I don't judge it. I don't judge them because I know what it feels like to be them. And and then just that my message is basically that I feel like the opportunity is outweighs the problem, and that we gotta, you know what I mean, the only chance that you got at life is to try to live a little more.
So I saw that you put up a picture of Chinks, a picture of you and Chinks together for his birthday to
Hmm.
pay tribute. And, I've always thought with the situation with Chinks, because as we all know, and people that were close to Chinks, he was about to really become a huge star.
Man, I miss Jinx.
Um, do you think that his death was caused by jealousy? And do you think that that's what's happening now?
I don't want to put one particular. um I don't really know. You know, in our community, it's so easy for us to be put and thrust into violent situations because, like I said, I can say something to somebody one day, they take it another way, and that turns into a situation later on. It's things that I've done in my past that may, you know, haunt me or any other artist or whatever. So I don't want to just put it all on jealousy. I just leave it, you know, a blanket statement. There's misunderstandings, whether those misunderstandings started as an artist or before you as an artist. Now, jealousy can play a factor in that, especially if you had enemies in the beginning and they watching you level up. It's like, oh, now you're rapping, now you're getting money, like, you know. But there's many variables, you know, and the fact that we don't really value each other's lives because we don't value our own lives. That is an issue also. So, you know, not just Chinks, you know, it's Nipsey, it's, you know, it's Pop Smoke. It's the list is a lot longer than we want it to be.
Yeah. And it's longer than ever. That's what's so scary about this
More than
situation.
ever.
Like even with Benny being shot, Zoe Dalla is being
Benny,
shot
yeah,
recently,
yeah,
Uzi
Benny is
Badass
always up.
being shot. I mean, it definitely looks as if entertainers, rappers are being targeted.
Yeah, we got to maintain our safety though, and we really got to move a certain type of way when we coming through. You know, not even our own, not even cities outside of where we come from, but our own cities. You know, and our own backgrounds. You know, the fact that, you know, you stand in the position of more people knows you than you know them, you already at some sort of a disadvantage. You know, any room that you walk in, more people going to know who you are. Every person coming up to you is you never know what their true intentions are. Like, you know what I mean? Is it a friend? Is it a foe? Is it somebody trying to lie me? Like, you never know. You know, and that's the disadvantage of being a rapper who's pretty well known. Um, so I mean, I feel like it's a lot of love, you know. I still feel like it's a lot of love, but these situations are starting to get a lot more scary, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's also a certain amount of expectation
Hmm.
that lyricists will be out in the community and they will be out in the streets. And I think, you know, where other artists, other entertainers, they can hide in their homes and never have to touch the community. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know if it is it entertainers or lyricists. I mean, we all entertainers at on different levels. Um, it depends on the type of person you are. You
Yeah.
know, some artists, you know, really are involved in the community. Um, some artists are not.
Okay.
You know, that depends on the person you are, the level of career that you have, but it really depends on the type of person that you are. You know, I always was a people person, so I always went back to my neighborhood. Last summer, you know, me and my partners, we opened up a clothing store in my neighborhood, and people would come see me there. People would come from out of town to see me there. I would pull up there random by myself, you know, and that reminded me of how the energy must have felt with Nipsey coming to his neighborhood, being a part of his neighborhood, being a part of his community, having a store there, and that, you know, it feels good to do that, but it is always also an element of people that, you know, who, you know, may be jealous and feel some sort of way about what you're doing, and they don't have enough love for themselves to see that what they're doing is disgusting, you know, because when you spend more time plotting to destroy somebody else opposed to fixing your own life, then what are you really doing? You know what I mean? You hurting somebody else over nothing is not fixing your life.
Hmm.
It's not, you still gonna be in the hell that you in, you know? So, you know, we gotta start looking more at ourselves. It's all about what makes sense. Let's make it make sense. You know what I mean? Let's make it make sense. You know, if a conflict is reasonably unavoidable, then that's one thing. Some of the things that's happening is just like, come on, man. We could have did without that.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Um, so Hail Mary 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. You like that?
What an incredible record that is.
Thank you.
So
Thank
talk to me about that. Why did you decide to do that record? And that sample you used, that it was incredible. I mean,
Oh man, no, that's my man GQ Beats. He sent me that. He know I love pop, so he know we always he always sample something every now and then with pop. And I had my guy Dios in the studio in Valley, and they helped me and we came up with it, and I thought it was dope. The hook was crazy, and we just talking. It's just a classic record, and I didn't want to. I was fearing that I wasn't gonna be able to make it as dope as the original. You know what I mean? But I didn't want it to sound like the original.
mhm.
So, but it came out. That's like one of my favorite records, if not the favorite.
I was thinking about you the other day in All Eyes on Me.
All eyes on
Are you
me.
itching to get back up on the big screen?
Yeah, I did some things. I've been doing some stuff. The film world is you gotta work. And every movie is not going to be like a blockbuster joint. So, but over the year I probably been involved with maybe 3 or 4 different projects as far as me acting. Yeah, over this last
Awesome.
year.
So it's going to be coming, they're going to be coming out.
Yeah, yeah. Those are not my
I know
projects.
everything's kind of pushed back because
Yeah,
of
and,
COVID,
and,
right?
and what I
So,
know about and what I understand about the film world is just things take time. You'll
yeah.
film something one year and it might not be out for.
Is there anything you want to reveal about anything you've done recently that we can look
Um,
out for, be excited about?
no. Shout out to my brother Cypher Sounds that we got a project that we working on. It's coming together real nice. And it's a TV project. So that's all I'm gonna say about
I'm
that.
assuming that's going to be hilarious.
Yes, yeah, definitely funny.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming, right?
yeah.
So, I was thinking about also Unstoppable.
Hmm.
And that would be a really amazing movie to put on TV, or if you wanted to redo it, cool, because I know it was kind of a documentary, but or on the big screen. Your life story, Maino, for anyone that doesn't know, is incredible. I mean, it's just so fascinating, your life story, how you did a number of years in prison,
Right.
um, starting, and of course you explain everything from your childhood to how you got in the drug game to why you went to jail.
Hmm.
And you did, 10 years in jail.
Hmm.
You got
Right.
out in 2003.
Hmm.
That's when we met. Your life story is fascinating.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
do you ever think about, putting a big production together for that?
I think about it. I think about it. I think about it, but I always felt like, I mean, maybe now it's time. I feel
I
like,
think a lot of people could learn from your
yeah,
life story.
yeah. I think, I think time. I think it's time. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think you're right.
I would love to see young people, especially, watch your life story.
I think it's time.
So,
Yeah.
who's going to play you, Mano?
I didn't think about that. Now you just gave it to me. You just inspired me.
Great.
This is what I'm talking about. You just inspired me because people have been telling me that for years, and I always felt like it wasn't the time. It is the time.
I think so.
It is
So,
the time.
so who would play you, Mano? Give me somebody to play you.
I don't know. The younger me. I don't know. We got to find that guy. We have to find that guy.
It would be really incredible to put it out there. I mean, I think people forget what you went through and the struggle that you had, and the fact that you were able to be released from prison in 2003,
Hmm.
and you've managed to stay out and build
Hmm.
your career the way that you've been able to build it. It's a fascinating story.
Thank you. Thank you.
you know. So you have a video out, which is a fun video, for Dead Benjis and Blue Faces,
Right.
which is definitely dope. And the album, you know, you have French on it, Jim Jones, and you have CeeLo Green.
Yeah, CeeLo Green, definitely.
Now, I love the record. It's called Fearless.
Hmm.
I love the message in the record. Have you worked with CeeLo before? Because I couldn't find an example of you two working together.
No, we haven't, but we always been cool for years.
So
Uh,
what was that collaboration like?
It was good. Like, we got mutual friends, so I had always want to work with him, and we always talked about that. And then when I did it, when I started the verses, I was listening to the music, and I just was like, this. It felt soulful, and it felt like he could live in that space. So I did it, and we sent it, and he heard it, and he knocked it out, and it was what it was. But CeeLo is a legend. It was an honor to even be on the same record as him.
I mean, it's a more eclectic sounding song than I'm used to
Hmm.
from you. You know, it was a little bit more diverse, and I your whole album is incredible. But I just felt like that one went a little bit to the left, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mm, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, I like CeeLo Green a lot. So, who is the song "Rat Theme" about?
you. Nobody in particular. It's just about lifestyle. It's about a certain type of lifestyle. It's about, we see what's going on in our culture. It's been, well, I can't even say our culture as far as the music. It's been happening for a long time. A group of guys go to prison. One or two guys, turn states, testify, work out deals, um, do all kinds of stuff, and then get back into life like nothing ever happened. But that's just something that's been a part of the nature of the street, of the underworld for a long time. Um, to act like there haven't been, people that's been doing this for years is it's been happening. So it wasn't really about a particular person. It was just about um, the lifestyle in general. It was just about that culture in general. And I have just wanted to make a song that spoke to that.
Hmm. So in it, you actually talk about, you know, from the side of the folks that this rat has
Mhm.
testified against about how these families have lost their loved ones who
Right.
have gone to prison.
Right, right. Because especially in the federal system, is like that's how it is. You hear about people getting locked up, and then what they do is they always have a link or the weaker link, and how that person is usually the person that or persons that, like when you think of Sammy the Bull, right, and Gotti, you know, Sammy had did a lot of dirt, and when they locked him and Gotti up, they pulled him in a room and played him the tapes of Gotti talking about him.
Mm.
That was their way of trying to, persuade him into telling us, like, look, this is not your friend, so why go down for him? And they let him get away with, I don't know what it was, 19 murders or something. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But, and he was able to do 5 years and take down a lot of people. So is that right to the families of the people that had to go down,
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective. It's all about where you stand with it. You know what I mean? Because if we involved in the underworld, then we involved in it. If we involved in the street, then we all accountable for our own actions. That's it.
Mm. You know, I thought you were going to answer that completely different.
Mhm.
Because you've always been so bold in the past, but maybe, you know, it's just about that actual theme. I know what 99% of the people listening to that record, well, who they think it's
Of
about.
course, they
We
gonna
won't
think
say any
that,
names,
but
but
yeah, but it's senseless to believe just that. Like that person is not the only person who has done that, and then I don't want to make it more about him because then it makes it about him though. Like if I'm the type of person, like I don't acknowledge things that I don't want to. I
right.
don't give
No, and I
everything.
understand. I
Yeah,
absolutely understand that.
yeah,
Not wanting to publicize that
yeah,
person,
yeah.
and I
Not at all.
that's why I'm not saying the name either.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
but I'm just saying that, you know, when I listen to it, I guess probably because of all of the press and everything that's been out in the last year, that my
Man,
mind.
shout out to Welcome Home Rowdy Rebel, man.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
Yeah,
congratulations to
definitely.
Rowdy Rebel. Now we just have to get
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah.
to get out soon. But I think they're looking at in 2021 sometime. So I think it was September 2021. I
I don't know
reported.
when it is, but I'm happy that that Rowdy was able to get out.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know,
Yeah.
get back to his
Um,
family. So,
so
that,
phases the record. You basically say that COVID is, oh, you say, I'm sorry, you say man-made viruses. So I wanted to ask you whether or not you feel COVID-19 is man-made.
yes,
Because
I do.
I feel the same way too. I do. I believe it's like a
Yeah,
biological weapon.
it came. I don't. No matter how it came about, it started somewhere in a lab, in my opinion. And they said it came from a bat, right? How did the bat get it? Like, how did the bat get it? Go from bat to human? Like, I don't know. Like, is people hanging around bats? I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
some man has something to do with that. Period. Point blank. It's something in the inception of that is yeah. I don't know, but I definitely feel like yeah, it was created somehow in a lab, some sort of um, viruses because this is it's biotechnology.
right. Yeah.
You know,
Will you take the vaccine, Maino?
no, they can wipe their ass with that vaccine. I'm good. My immune system is like that. I'm on elderberry. I'm on sea moss. I'm on black seed oil, wheatgrass.
You work
Work
out
out.
constantly.
Yeah, so like I don't. I'm not. I'm not fond of that. I haven't been sick in like 2 years. Like really sick. I haven't really been home sick, struggling with any sort of real symptoms of anything. Now I've had a cough here, um, some sniffles here, but I haven't really been sick. I don't want to take the vaccine.
Now you have obviously a son who's older, who's a teenager. What if they say in order for him to attend school,
See,
he'll
that's
have
the
to take the
problem. That's
vaccine?
what that's what I think that they're gonna do, and
Yeah.
that's what the plan always was to a certain degree is to make the vaccine um, mandatory. But if you look at what the vaccine, they talking about the vaccine, and they either had it already or they made it too fast,
It's
right?
fast.
It's once they were saying it takes 2 years to make, so they either had it already, right? Now they're saying you can get Bell's palsy, you know, some of the side effects from it, I'm cool on it. I'm cool on it. And as far as the schooling system, we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there. And but I think that that's what the plan was. They was trying to make it a mandatory thing and have it implemented in the school systems. You know, um, I'm even hearing about them trying to implement it as far as traveling. I don't know if that's a fact, but it's just a lot of talk all over the place.
Mm. So I wanted to, and of course, we talked about this record over the summer too, but I Can't Breathe is
Hmm.
also appearing on your album,
Hmm.
Dia Legend. This record is just such an incredibly powerful record as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was affected by the whole George Floyd thing. George Floyd, I think, died on a, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was on a Monday. On that Monday, the next day, I made the record. Like I made it the very next day because I sat right here in the seat and I made it. Actually, I record from right here. Um, you can't be whether you're an artist or a bus driver, or young black man going to school. You're going to be affected by some of the stuff that's happening, even if we, you know, don't don't want to take an active role in some of the stuff that's going on. As an artist, I feel like we got a responsibility to express some of the things that's happening in the community. You know, and we got uh we have a platform, and that we have a responsibility to talk about some of the things that is happening. Now, everybody's not going to take those measures, but for me, I wanted to, because it just doesn't sit right for me to always make songs about this or that and not talk about what's actually going on.
Yeah. I mean, you're very powerful on your social media. And we've talked about this before
Mhm.
with I call 'em your PSAs, where you get on there and you speak to the community
Right,
and people are listening to you.
right,
And they're influenced by you.
yeah.
And do you feel comfortable at this point being a role model, especially for
Um,
young men?
yeah. I mean, we come up and we feel like we're not perfect, so we say we not role models, like we're not perfect, but nobody's perfect, though, and I wear my flaws like they jewelry, you can see them. And the things that I say are not perfect. I don't speak perfect, but that's the attraction to it, because I come to the people as a people, and I'm speaking from my perspective on how I see the world, and it inspires me. So it's really me talking about me, but what happens is that it resonates with people so much because we more alike than we think.
Hmm. I love the fact that you started your podcast too,
Yeah.
because we
Yes.
talked about it a while back that you really wanted to start this
Yeah.
Kitchen Talk podcast, and
Yeah.
you actually did it.
Yeah. I remember we talked about that. Yep. We
Yeah.
talked about that. I
You said,
remember
I
that.
really want to do this. And, a few times when you've been up at my radio station, you've taken over my whole show.
Yeah.
So, I
Yep.
mean, you
Right.
doing radio just felt so
Yeah.
natural anyway. But the
Yeah.
fact that you put together this podcast and it's highly
It's fun.
successful,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun and it's dope. It's like, I do it right from my house, and it's because I wanted to take advantage of where we were at as far as the pandemic and being on quarantine, instead of just sitting and not doing nothing. We had the opportunity to increase our value. So I was like, yo, you know what? Let's do the podcast now, right? Let me get all this equipment right here, and then learn how to engineer. So right here is my studio area, right? I sit here, I got my mic, I got my speakers, I got this whole area down here, and I make music alone. You know, Whenever I feel like it, I make music. I learn how to engineer, right? And I've learned how to engineer since the pandemic. Like I didn't,
Wow.
yeah, I learned, like that's a skill that I never had before. Like I learned how to engineer since being on quarantine, and I had my guy come over here and teach me, and he taught me. I got it, and I'm cool. And then upstairs,
Wait. Did you put this album together?
um, no, but I recorded certain records right here. Like I recorded.
I was just wondering because I was going to say, geez, like that's a ton of work that you did.
No, I did a couple of records on there though. The Rat Thing, I did Can't Breathe,
Wow.
and I did the record with me and Jim. Um,
That's incredible.
yeah, I did that right here. And me and Jim record a lot. Oh, yeah, we record a lot together. Like, shout out to Jim and the Quarantine Studios, because he didn't figure out a way to record through Zoom. So we sit up at night doing music and stuff like that. And sometimes like I'm controlling my mic and whatever, but he got a way to do it where the engineer controls my computer and all I got to do is record right here on the mic. So yeah, those 3 records on the project I actually did myself.
I spoke to Jim a couple of weeks ago. He was on my show, and we talked about the quarantine studios and the fact that he can even like FaceTime someone and in real
Yeah,
time record with them while
yeah, that's what we
seeing them
do.
in real time.
That's what we do. We do it in real time, like just the way that me and you talking right now, and then he'll have the engineer X will be controlling the. He'll control. I give him control of my computer.
Hmm.
When he get control of my Pro Tools, now I don't even have to worry about controlling my Pro Tools. Now I'm just in rapper mode. I throw my headphones on, and now he punching me, and then we good. So we do
That
that.
that that must. I mean, because all right, we would always talk about, hey, you jumped in the studio with this person, right? And how was your
Mhm.
experience, right? And then over time, it became, oh, we were never in the studio together. He just sent me a verse, right? Which to me felt so boring when artists would talk about it. This is like everyone is back in the studio together without having to be in the same
Oh,
room.
he definitely found the future, and it's gonna be the new way. It's gonna be the new way of doing things, especially times when we live in now. So like say like you want to do a song with somebody that's overseas, we do it on Zoom. We do it.
It's
We take
crazy.
complete advantage of the technology. Do it on Zoom. We sit here, and then the studio vibe. So like if I'm in my studio and you got homies over here, and and everybody cooling and drinking, and there's girls on here, this is the vibe over here, and everybody saying, "Hey, what's going on?" and "What's popping?" And you know what I mean? We live. We gonna up it, right? So you doing the same. Everybody, it's party. It's festive, right? The music is playing. Everybody's listening to me. Oh, that verse is good. Oh, you know what? Let me change that. Let me come back. So then we going back and forth, feeding off each other energy, and then this, it's a beautiful thing though. Yep. We was in there the other night and I fell asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep right here.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. And Jim was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be up till 5, so."
Jim don't sleep. Like he's vampire life. Like he don't.
The interview he actually did with me was an interview like this in the morning, like around noon, and he was still in bed. And he actually did the interview from his bed, which was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's staying up all night making music, and that's what he loves. So why not do it?
Yeah. No, it's man. And listen, you can never have enough work. So
Right. Yeah.
definitely
Getting back to your podcast, Kitchen Talk,
mention
you have
talk.
you have an interview with Ice-T.
Yeah. Ice T. That was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never gotten to interview him before. I met him one time. I've only met him one time, and that was at Remy and Papoose' wedding. That was the only time I got to ever meet him. And what was that like talking to Ice-T?
Ice T is full of game. He one of them dudes that I want to listen. I want to listen to. Because he's been around for so long. He's been on both coasts. He's seen the game from start, and he's made a hell of a transition.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely one that when he talks, I like to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it helps me because he stood the test of time and he's navigated through, through being a artist, a controversial artist,
Yep.
being a part of, the rise of the West, being, being controversial. He's caught up in the whole cop killer and, the legislation was against music and, it was a thing in the 90s to, steamroll over CDs, stuff like that and tapes. And then to acting,
Yep.
where he's at. So, Ice is definitely a good dude.
It's funny when I talk to my kids about Ice-T, they're like, I'll say, yeah, back in the day, one of my favorite records was Colors, and they're
Right.
like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, he was a rapper. And they're like, I said, he's still a rapper. He still tours all the time. And they're like, wait a minute, Ice-T, Ice-T was a rapper? Because they only know him from like TV now. But he has evolved over the years, his
Yeah.
career. And you do the same thing, though. You're
Yeah.
multifaceted.
Right. Nah, that's a fact. And what you're saying is real because my son 18, he just turned 18, and we've had conversations, like straight up conversations about artists. Like it's, when you in hip hop, it's you have to educate your kids on hip hop, right? So I've had conversations. One of the conversations I had with him one time was letting him know that Jadakiss is actually from a group called The Lox. I had to tell him that, right? I had to tell him that Ice Cube uh,
Was a
was
part of NWA.
was part of NWA, and he was huge as a rapper.
Yeah.
And he always was bugging off for the fact that Snoop Dogg, like he loved Snoop Dogg, like
Yeah.
so Dad, Snoop Dogg was really like the biggest rapper. I said, first of all, Snoop Dogg still to this day is the most popular rapper. You do know that, right?
Most popular?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, because between everything he does, all his endeavors, yeah.
Yeah, he is. They had some sort of poll or something like he's the most popular on the earth. Like I think, right?
Okay.
At one point, remember, like the he was like what Drake is today as
Mm-hmm.
far as the music. You know, it didn't get bigger than Snoop Dogg. And then
Nope.
my son is like he's like, really? You know, so you gotta because the attention span nowadays is, you know, if a kid is 18, he definitely don't, his attention span is different, you know? Like they off stuff so fast. Oh
Right.
man, that's old. Man, this dude just came out last year. How that's old? Like, you know?
Well, I remember, buying albums, or
Right.
even when I was a teenager, I used to DJ, so I'd have like 12 inches. But when albums would come out, or tapes, or whatever, I would like take the whole thing out, the slip cover inside, and I would look at all the credits and everyone that was on every single record. And I mean, I would definitely get in there, and I don't think that maybe our youth has that same type of attention span
Nah, we
now.
used to look at I used to one of my favorite things to do when I would get like the tapes and stuff is to look at the credits.
Yes.
I would like to see who produced what, and then I would like to see who they shouted out. The credits was very important to me. Like that was a whole process right there. The whole track listing now is not even, it's not even a thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even a thing because it's digital now.
Yeah. Yeah.
People look at it. There's no shout outs. We used to I remember Ready to Doc shout outs. Like it was just like this. Like he shouted out everybody. Like, that was a thing, to read those credits to see who they were shouting out and then who they was talking about on those credits. But now you know what I mean. There's no space to even do that no more.
I know. I know. It's changed so much. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it gives artists a better chance of getting their music out for
Yeah.
people to listen to, which is a really wonderful thing, right? But at the same time, can people appreciate the music as much? Not quite sure about that.
Um, I don't know if they appreciate it as much because um, it's so many distractions.
Yeah.
And it
And there's
hard to
just so much music always
so
coming
much
out.
music, but with all the stuff that's going on our phones,
Yeah.
right? Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, now Clubhouse, phone calls, Zoom calls, everything's happening in one place on our phones. Um, how do you get past how do you get through a whole 45, 50-minute project from top to bottom, you know?
Well, I love your project, I a Legend. And
Thank you.
everybody should listen to it because you say a lot of things on there,
I appreciate it.
and I just love the production on it, and it's just it's an incredible album,
Thank
So
you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I
It's really
appreciate it.
great talking to you. And whenever everything's coming out, all these movies and things that you just
Yeah.
acted in, can you please let me know so I can make
Boom,
sure to
boom, boom. Yes.
check it all out?
Nah, it's number love. You all listen, Jenny, you've been the same with me from day one. And I told you, like, from day one, I think it was like about 2005 when we first met. And you allowed me to come up to the station, and you kept the same energy from day one and through my whole career. Whether I was on a high or if I was on a low, you always treated me the same. So we can always keep that energy. It don't matter, forever and ever.
Thank you, Mino. I've always considered you a friend.
You got it.
And so thank you very much for saying that. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go.
All
Thanks
right.
so much for joining me.
All love,
Okay.
Jenny.
Bye,
You got it.
Mino.
Love.